Oh, good afternoon, everyone. It's Greg Dixon here for trend trading for financial freedom. I really enjoy trading. It's kind of a game for me. I haven't always been successful, but I'm working towards a system, a rating system that will help greatly. And so I've written an article here. I'm just going to post the link to it. It's called The Power of Sevens in Successful Trend Trading. And through that article a bit here. And then also I'm going to go to the Kraken trading platform and look at something live. That's always a little bit risky, but I'll just show you what the article is suggesting to look for. So without further ado, let's take a look. So here's the article here, and the first thing I want us to emphasize is the overall market trends, right? There's a Kraken has a couple of indicators, and I'm going to show you sort of these live in a few minutes. But this is a really good way of looking to see where the market's going. See, and the first one here is kind of a sea of red. There are two things. It's a sea of red, and also recently, this is in time, that's tailing off. That's sort of declining. This one here, this one looks better. It's mostly green. But also you notice that the recent ones aren't that strong either. So you can see that what I mean is the tail slopes here, where it's going up, and it's going sideways, going down. And here's when you see something that looks like this, well, you should hop on and look for some good opportunities. It's pretty rare, so when you see that, go for it. The other thing, I'm looking at slopes. Overall trend for an asset, probably more better than 30%, and up to a 70%. If it's more than 70%, you can make money, but could be a wild ride anyway. And also the other thing is that what I mean by your current portfolio trend, my Kraken account has a number of assets which are bundles, and if the overall numbers are going up, that means overall the market's going up. If they're going down, then you're going to be going uphill. So one of the ideas about this trend here is I wrote an article called "Try to Trade with the Rising Trends," and so the idea there is when the tide's coming in, you've got waves going up and down, up and down, up and down, and 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 even if you make a kind of mediocre trade, it's probably going to go carry your way. But when the trend is going the other way, when the tide is coming out, it may look like you have some opportunities, but overall it's going to be tough. It's like swimming against the current, swimming upstream. It's really hard. Early morning trading magic. What I mean by that is in theory, there shouldn't be any difference, but I'm seeing that generally early morning Eastern time, but when the same time as the New York Stock Exchange opens, there's a lot more activity, and many of the trading options in crypto happen at that point too. And then individual trade analysis, and I'm going to show you in a way. So basically, I'm using candles, and there are a couple of other indicators that I like to take a look at, and we'll take a look at those soon. The overall slope here. I'm talking about the rating system. I've got a pretty complex little spreadsheet going with ratings for a bunch of different things. Repeat green bars, and again, I'm going to show you these in live. But if you have Kraken shows volume bars that are either red or green, and if they're alternating red and green, then it's probably pretty unstable. If you got a number of green bars in a row, it's pretty good. But if you have a lot of green bars in a row, it may be signaling the end of an upward trend. So it's all of this. If this was easy, everybody would be making money. And the reality is 70% of retail traders do not make money. So what I'm trying to do is come up with a system to help you get in that 30% where you're consistently making money. there's the other thing called, maybe we'll see some today. There's some pretty severe volume spikes that happen, and generally that indicates either a change in market sentiments, could be increased activity, or it could be a reversal. So watch for those. Also, if you're using take profits and stops, those spikes can really either make a lot of money for you in a hurry, or dump your dump your things in a hurry too. So it's a wild ride sometimes. And then there's an analysis screen we're going to take a look at. There's 6 main panels that I look at, and basically the one on this corner here, that shows the pricing trends. This one in the middle here shows the balance between people wanting to buy and people wanting to sell. This one on the far side here is the volume. Like right there with this one here happens to be the volume's down to next to zero. So whatever excitement was in the market is probably past. There's the volatility trade spikes here. And I kind of like this one here. Is the balance of orders that are either buying or selling. And sometimes it looks like it's great when it's green, but also maybe people want to buy but nobody's selling, so it sometimes can be a little bit misleading. And I've got a thing called a joy level. I realize the days when I'm not having fun trading, I probably don't make good decisions, and I'm better off doing something else. So the more I try to treat this as a fun, as a game, and I minimize how much I'm risking and losing, but trying to learn from when things don't go my way and appreciate when they do. And I've developed a trading tool here, and it's basically in a spreadsheet, and I try to rate these various things. I've got very important here is the overall market trends, what's most popular, how they're going, recent slopes, and portfolio trend I mentioned briefly. And that's an overall rating of the market. And when the market is not going your way, maybe you should generally go check in, maybe set a timer, come back in an hour and see what is happening. And then here's for the individual ones, what the general slope is, if it's upward, the volume, differential, and these number of things. And and then I've been tracking the price, and I don't always track the prices because they vary on the asset. The main thing that means anything really is what I paid for it, including the fees, and what it sold for, and how much I won or lost on it, and their percentage. So that's the only real meaningful number of all these things. The others are interesting to track, but the meaningful number is is your portfolio growing or shrinking? And I'm one of the things I like about Kraken is it has a lot of different trade options. But the one here that I'm going to show today is basically you buy something at market value, and when you're buying it, you set a take profit level. Like here, it's setting at 5%, and that's -2. That will work for a lot of things. Some things are a lot slower. That's maybe too big of a gap, and some things need a larger gap. But that's a pretty safe way of going. And the future plans, I'm going to develop the basis of this article and this presentation is going to be a book that I'm going to launch, and there will also be a trading program coming up. So anyway, okay, so let's go take a look at some live trading. Oh, there we go. Okay, just 1 second. I think I've got a parcel being delivered, so hang on. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you very much. There we go. I'm back. Yeah, I had a parcel delivered from Temu, came from Hong Kong, arrived today. So there we go. So back to this. So one of the first things is the overall market trend. Kraken has this market thing. You can see there are a number of different ones with a bunch of different things, and then if you can come and take a look at what they are. But here's the overall cloud. Let's see. And you can see here, this is one day, and it started up kind of moderate climb, and then it declined. And just in the last hour or so, it started coming up again. So for most of the day, it's been pretty sad for trading. I've experimented with a few things, but mostly it's one of these things that shouldn't be trading. So so the other thing is, okay, we go to, let's take a look at the trade screen. And I'm going to, the only thing I'm holding right now is a little bit of Bitcoin. I bought it a few days ago, but it hasn't really been doing much of anything. So here you can see it sort of come up. When was that? That was yesterday. So basically starting pretty early this morning, it peaked a little bit, and then it's been going down and kind of recovering. So not too exciting. So Kraken allows you to look at various things. Like this is one is, let's say the top traded, and that's the usual suspects like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. So let's see what Ethereum's been doing. Like if we checked an hour earlier, it would have been down here. Like again, it did much like Bitcoin, puttered up, and then it did a fairly severe dump, and now it's kind of looks like it might recover. So the other one, even when the market's kind of poor, there can be some deals in the gainers. And here, this one is H, and it's showing that it's up 39%. It was up over 40% for a while, but here there's some good things about the indicators that are evident here. One is probably the best time to be trading this would have been, say, about 7 o'clock, about 7 o'clock this morning. That's Pacific time. I'm set to Pacific time, so that's fairly early in the day. And if you got in here, like you probably could have made some good money all the way up through here. I earlier tried here. I thought maybe I was optimistic it was going to come up. I bought some, it went up, and then it went down. So I made I lost some money there. And then I was just sort of puttering around because I was sort of planning to this here, and I ended up seeing this early, and I bought this. I bought it at 5% take profit and 2% stop loss. And I went to go get something out of the fridge, and by the time I come out, it had stopped out, and it basically made almost 5% profit in a few seconds. So these ones are pretty wild. Some of the top ones on these gainers can gain over 100% in a day, and the thing is they climb hard and they fall hard. so these are like sometimes these are not for the faint of heart. But right now, you can see, I'm going to look at this red line here that's coming along here. That's an overall direction indicator. And here, for much of the earlier part of the day, it showed a fairly positive slope, and then it's come down. You can see here is right in the middle there, it's more like going sideways. So you don't know where it's going to go. I got lucky when I hit this little spike, but really it could have gone the other way just as well. I just happened to get lucky on that one. But I'm going back. One of these things is I talked about the green bar, green and red bar. These are volume, and generally, if you're over here, like where there's almost no volume, basically it's like like a ship is in the doldrums. Not much is happening, and there's not enough real trade volume or momentum to really indicate anything. Here it started, the momentum started, the volume increased, and it was got a number of green bars going, and then we had a mixture of red, then more green, more green. And then here, this is again, this would have been the ideal time, is about 7 o'clock if you got in and started catching this elevator ride up. And then it sort of started petering off and then started going sideways. And then now it's basically, this trend is down. So it's not really worthwhile. And so it's basically, this is right now, it's 2:36 Pacific, then that'd be over 5. It's a dinner time. I'm not sure exactly what happens here. I think what happens is many of the big traders are trading earlier in the day. This is anime. It ran a similar pattern earlier in the day. What's that? Yeah, 6 in the morning. So they caught some things, they bought some things, and then they get to the point where started selling things off. And you might catch something, but generally the opportunity is more or less gone by when was that? When by 8 o'clock. So if you were trading this past 8 o'clock, you're probably going to be disappointed. Let's see what else. I will sometimes look at the ultimate losers. So I know some people who will buy something. The idea is that what comes down will eventually go up, and what goes up will eventually come down. That will sometimes work, but it sometimes doesn't. Just because something's dropped 80% doesn't mean it can't drop another 80%. So but I have sometimes found some pretty good opportunities here, where if you happen to have something that is you sort of at the top of the gainers one day and at top of the losers the next day, and they alternate a bit. But again, we're talking fickle. The market is really fickle, and whatever you expect the pattern to happen, you can't guarantee on it at all. I've had things like let's see if it's listed here. Night. Okay. Anyway, there's a thing called based on Bitcoin that I had some success with, and then it dumped hard, and I don't think it's ever really recovered since then. So let's go back and look at anime here. What I want to see. So the overall indicator here, actually look at that. So it's starting to come up with a little bit of green here. And you might say, well, maybe it's going to make a comeback. So part of the thing here is Kraken has this really good indicator screen here. I'd gone through briefly in the article. And one of the ones here is the price trend. And it shows you this graph is every 15 minutes, but you can get a longer term view of an hour or 4 hours. And so you can see this has actually gone along, puttered along, was up there and declined, and then it's had a couple of runs here. So really not that bad. Looks kind of promising. Here right now, like at this moment, these aggressor differential strongly against the sell. So that's interesting. What's good here is the trade count's just gone up. Like the trade count was down low, now it's gone up. So that's generally a good sign. That's represented on the other screen with those bigger, larger bars, volume bars. And here, I kind of like this one here. Like I'll rarely ever purchase something where the red sell is more imbalance is on the red side. But but the green side, so if that looks positive for buy, I'll consider that. It can be misleading again, especially if there's almost no volume. It basically, yeah, people want to buy, but nobody's selling. So there's all sorts of considerations here, and really Kraken provides a lot of tools. There are endless amounts of indicators. I'm not using much. This funny little cloud thing is a thing called the Ichimoku cloud. It has a bunch of different indicators, and in the article there's a link to Investopedia explaining how it works. It's a little bit mysterious, but it's one of the few things, like if this thing is a general upward trend, it kind of inspires me to be optimistic, but you have to be careful. The reality is all of the indicators only really show you the past and the current moment, and there's no real guarantee. But if things are generally going upward, then it can be optimistic here. So I'm let's go back to H here, see what H is doing. Yeah, it's kind of not doing much either. So according to my trading matrix with the sevens, I wouldn't trade this. I might buy something to demonstrate what it is, but it really, at this point, not enough of the indicators that I'm looking at are in the sevens to average. So to purchase this at this point here would be kind of speculation. So yeah. Okay. The other thing I'm going to see, if you can see at the top number, I've got a very small, I've been trading really micro trades, mostly $5 at a time, because I really want to prove my system. And when I get to the point where basically I not ever having a losing day, I'm gaining something absolutely every single day, then I'm going to start adding more money into this. And at some point, you could do, hundreds of dollars and get to thousands of dollars. Because really, when it comes down to it, um, if you can make yourself clear and make 1% a day consistently, really you can grow your account as big as you want. But until you can prove that you can do that consistently every day, then it's gambling. So really, what I want to do is I want to make this. I want to convert it into from basically what is a speculation and hope for the best exercise to a trading skill. And I really believe it is a skill. There are lots of professional traders with hedge funds who make money consistently, and but the majority of casual traders lose. So, and especially in the market right now, where overall it's going sideways or even down. There have been times where all of the stock market and all of the crypto markets are going up, and basically all you have to do is buy something and wait, and you come off ahead. That's just not the current situation now. It could be, but for now, it's not. So I don't recommend ever buying something and hoping it's going to go up at this point here, and I'm advocating a learning how to do trend trading. And I'm mostly having this as a day trader thing. So what I'm looking at is taking things when I invest, like if I were to buy something, I would be hoping for it to increase at least 5% within the next 7 hours, so that you'd sell out at the 5%. The other the trading. Let's go back. Maybe I will take a look at the gainers here. Let's look at the anime. See what it's doing. So let's say we're to speculate. I don't think I should giving you bad advice, but if I were to uh, purchase this okay, we'll go through the little thing here. So in the right here, there's a buy, and this is market. So basically, if I push the buy button, it just buys it at whatever the going rate is. So the good thing about that is it's kind of instant. And then I'm going to set, let's say, take profit at 5% and a pretty tight stop loss at 2%. So I'm not really only risking 2%. It's got to go up to the 5%. And this requires more than $5. Some require, a minimum of it looks like about $8. So or $10. My next step is I'm going to probably, when my account has more balance in it, I'm going to trade at probably $10 a time, and then eventually work up as it become pretty consistent with creating winners. Then I'll move up, and maybe at some point I'll be making $100 trades at a time. I kind of like doing more small trades, and then it's easier to track, and you figure out if you're successful or not, rather than big massive trades. Like even if I had $10,000 in here, I probably wouldn't do a $1,000 trade. Probably do a number of $100 trades. And so one of the advantages, I maybe I should leave this for another day, but one of the things is if you do have like right now, I got the Bitcoin. It's not really showing. Let's see how. Will show a percentage away. So what I tend to do, this little number here is the percentage, the stop loss. So if something's coming up, and let's say it gets up, so it's up higher, closer to take profit, I will edit this stop loss to maybe be to make sure even if everything reverses, I will be in profit. So that's one of the advantages of this thing here, is you can make adjustments as it goes. And, once in a while, if it looks like it's going to go up, I'll increase the take profit range too. So if you were to use Kraken on the phone, it kind of is optimized for buying something, and then it offers you to do a take profit at 10%. So that's kind of its default mechanism here. I'm using this stop loss and take profit combination because I've really I've been burnt. Yes. So if you don't hit the 10% and it bounces down and drops 20%, you really have no recourse. So I'd rather dump out at 2 or 3% loss and try something else than just watch it crash and burn. Anyway, so that's all for now. Do you have any questions? Okay, yeah, I don't know if you have any questions for this, and I don't know if you're using the platform, but I'm really happy with Kraken. It has a lot of really good indicators. It works pretty well. Has a huge number of resources if you're interested in buying and trading sort of currencies like the British pound, American dollar, and euro. You can do that too, and it has some mechanisms for staking. So if you don't want to be an active trader, you can basically stake on things. And on the phone, the mobile version, it has a thing called bundles. So I purchased a couple of bundles So the value of the bundle goes with the currencies, and one is a sort of blue chip uh, Bitcoin currencies, crypto, big blue chip crypto, and then also there's a couple of other ones, and they rebalance. So let's say the one of them may have 6 or to 10 different crypto assets bundled in there, and at the each week it rebalances so that to optimize the gains. So again, that's not going to pay off until the market tide comes up again, and right now it's mostly sideways, but some analysts are thinking it is like Bitcoin will regain a lot of its losses and gain quite a lot over the future. But it's really volatile, and who nobody really knows. So, but I like to have fun in the trading, and I'm working on this system in order to be more consistent, have more consistent winners, and hopefully grow my account. And what I'm hoping for is if I can consistently make a living wage from trading, then I can just have enough balance in there, make the money work for me, and Bob's your uncle. So anyway, that's all for now, and take a visit at Trend Trading for Freedom. .com, the Power of Sevens, for this article. And if you're interested in trying Kraken, you can sign up for an account and just play with it. You don't have to add money into it, and you can add, as little as $20, 200, 2,000, 20,000, whatever it is. But I would recommend putting maybe a few $100s in there and playing with it and see if you can make it work for you. Try my strategy, try my Power of Sevens strategy here, and see if that helps make better trades for you. And I'm looking forward to launching a book and a program for this in 2026. So have fun trading, and talk to you later.